So welcome everybody. This is how to lead your organization's AI transformation, strategies, skills, and culture, and all that. I put in a not after I did the talk because there's a lot of not in it as well. Also, it's a very long title and maybe boring, so I think it was a common theme. Joachim had it as well. Let's do a subtitle. So it's Dr. Copilot on how I learned to stop worrying and adopt AI. I am Rasmus Lystrøm, and as Lorenz said, I work out of Microsoft in Denmark. You can hook me up on these things. So being from Microsoft, I have to say, opinions are my own. This is not going to be a sales talk, but there may be some product placement. So you may see logos, but it's not intentional in that way. Also, title was written and conceived without the use of AI. Yeah, you have to say that these days, right? Oh, I can do this great talk with AI. We'll get to that. Now, just before we move on, just a bit of a backstory. This talk was first given at a very small conference in Denmark in April this year. And it was a talk or a day where a lot of tool vendors or sort of the AI companies were present. And they were supposed to give their best on how to use their tools. And they had also invited the guy from GitHub, which meant that coming from Microsoft, like, I've got nothing. Right? They already have all the developer stuff out of there. And coming from Microsoft is sort of, we kind of pretend that GitHub is part of this and we want to be part of the family. And GitHub is like, yeah, we're doing our own thing. So it's all fine. But that meant that I asked the organizer, well, can I do an opinion piece? Like, why don't we do something else and talk about how to do this AI thing, or maybe why people are failing at it. So that's really the story. And so it was recorded, and it was the first time I myself got published on YouTube. And I made the, maybe for some of you, obvious mistake of going and reading the comments. And there were 2 negative comments, which kind of struck me. Also, they were very easy to find, because they were exactly 2 comments. So, yay, engagement from trolls or something. So the first comment was this. Title was interesting, but nothing worth in the presentation. The speaker has not managed to transform any organization, waste of time, conference should do some quality control. Now, I'm back, so maybe they didn't, I don't know. But I won't claim that I've transformed any organization, not at all. In April of 2024, I don't think anyone had, so it's a bit harsh. At the end of 2024, don't think anyone has either. Also, I sincerely hope you will find that this is less wasteful, but we'll see. The second comment was a bit longer. There isn't really anything new or insightful in this talk. You could replace the word AI with the name of any tool, automation, whatsoever, and it would have been identical. Nothing we didn't know before. A much better talk would focus on how teams use AI now and what real problems they have. And AI could have written this talk because it wasn't creative or have any new information. Right, so failing at transformation is not new, right? Your organizations are failing at it as we speak. And we seem to be still failing at it and adopting the same strategies over and over again, which prompts me to think that maybe this bears repeating. Like maybe you had heard it before, but you obviously didn't listen. Maybe that's the thing. Okay. And also, you're right, it could have been written by AI, but then that's the point with AI. No matter what you ask it, it will say, sure, here's the thing, right? So it could have been. Okay, enough of a starter or primer. So we go to part 1, GenAI transformation. And you then ask yourself, what is this generative AI thing? And I think we've all been around it. If you were in the previous talk in this room, you know exactly what it is. But I think we've got to ask ourselves, what are we racing towards and why? So it seems like AI is shouted out everywhere. So when I walk through the office back in Copenhagen, it's Copilot, 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 Copilot all the time. Shut up! Right? Can we please talk about something with a little more nuance? But apparently we can't. So if you haven't already, do you have any FOMO in this? Like fear of missing out? If you're not using AI, things will go really bad? Like some of you? Okay, and it seems like there's this notion that if we don't adopt AI, we're all going to die. Right? I think if you do adopt AI, you may die if you're running a Tesla. There might also be a lot of FUD, like fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What about compliance? What about my data? What about data protection, data sovereignty? Does it really work? Can I trust it? You obviously can't. Can I trust them, the AI providers? Yeah. Which leads us to the data problem. So most of your organizations have no clue where your data is, right? Or how you're using it or how you're applying things. So big problems there that should have been solved before you adopted AI, but they should also have been solved before you even moved to the cloud or any other thing. So that's a pervasive problem that will stick on. So that leads us to leadership strategy number 1. We'll wait it out, AKA the FUD strategy. So we'll think IT can block access to ChatGPT and prevent data leaks. We'll solve the problem that way. We'll shield ourselves in. Now the problem is kind of the same thing as the problem with water. Right? It will always find a way. So no matter how you try to block your users, your employees from adopting these things, from using these things, it'll leak. They'll try to do it because there's a lot of fad. You may have FUD, but your people have fad. Everybody still talks about it. Have you tried it yet? Oh, it's so smart. Do you know, I did all this, and I just created all this stuff. So question for you, and this is why I wanted to move close. Have any of you tried to use open ChatGPT and put your company's data in there? Just snippets of code, tiny little things. Anyone? Just a couple. I mean, we're not recording in this direction, so you can sort of, just a few, and the rest of you are liars. All right? You've all tried it, and you've thought, all of you, it's going to be fine. It's not critical data. It'll be okay. The problem is it's usually not you who get to decide that over your company's data or your company's source code. So here's another observation. I talked to a person from one of the largest banks in Denmark, and this is what she said. I have to use my phone because IT blocks ChatGPT on my PC. So what she did was she would take the code or the stuff on her screen and then enter it into her phone, have ChatGPT generate a response, and then move it back up to the other one. Data leaks, right? Your employees, nobody cares about compliance. You're drawn towards this new thing, and you're thinking it's okay. You have to make it easy to do it right. And if you do all these blockers, they will do it anyway. So you have to find a way to make it easy to do it right. Otherwise, you end up with this. So you might be thinking again, it's because you don't want to buy a new subscription service, right? That's the one thing, right? You don't want to pay for it. So it's got something to do with IT. So we'll let the IT organization figure it out. Maybe they should handle it. And we're going to hand it to the IT department, go figure this AI thing out. You're not going to get a budget, you're not going to get a priority, you're not going to get additional time, additional resources. Now it's your job. Which leads us to leadership strategy number 2. We'll build our own version of ChatGPT, aka the copycat strategy. We will call it company name GPT. If your company doesn't have it, I'm pretty sure the person sitting next to you has got one of those. All right? And I've seen a lot of these over the past 18 months, 2 years. And it's all about this. We'll build our own instance of ChatGPT. We'll use OpenAI, and we'll make sure we control access to it so we keep the data. And the thing is, if you decide to build a thing like that, what you end up with is a shallow copy of the real thing. You can't keep up with all the innovation that goes on the other space, because the fact is that you're too late. So I recently learned about Wall-E maps, and here's a nice person who did one, and as you can see, there's innovation on the left-hand side, and there's commodity and utility on the right-hand side. And standard chat UI is already a commodity or utility. Big tech has already out-innovated everyone. Right? There's no way you can catch up with standard chat-based input-response thing. So, and because your version will never catch up, your people will hate you and think it's completely boring, and they will blame IT and say they're useless again, and they will use ChatGPT on their phones. So the IT organization has failed. And when the IT organization fails due to organization, the only solution in enterprise is to hire a new manager. So it leads us to IT strategy number 3. We will hire, this is a new thing I invented, a CIO or a CITO. So a Chief AI Officer or a Chief AI Transformation Officer. It's going to be big, I know. So we will call that strategy the new silo. And this person will come along and of course realize that it requires new organization and a new silo, and what they will say is, let's form an AI center of excellence. This will be governing AI and build a new and much better compliant AI platform which anyone can use. Right? Have any of you got sort of a cloud center of excellence? Or like a cloud platform team? Any one of those? Yeah, we're sorry, it doesn't work. So I see at least 3 problems with this. So one of them, I'm going to continue asking questions. You should have moved closer. Any of you bowl? Bowling? Bowling, anyone? Or do you at least know what it is? Right? You know bowling, right? So when you do this compliant platform where you do guardrails and make sure everyone can do the right thing in the right way, you get this. This is the greatest place to work, right? I got the tiny, tiny ball, and the only thing I can do is be within these guardrails, and I can't touch anything. And I'm pretty sure if the ball ever reaches the end of the lane, it will topple nothing. Right? Fantastic. The other problem is that 80% of the companies I work with, if not 100, are always 80% done with a new platform. This new platform is going to solve all the world's problems, right? Last week I saw a post from another enterprise proudly showing their state-controlled AI system that, we can now generate images based on a prompt. Like, woohoo, what year is this? That's really great and how very useful. And the other problem is there's a platform already. So challenge here is you're building a platform on top of a platform on top of a platform. It's going to be very stable. So what I'm trying to say is maybe you should buy it anyway. Maybe. And it's easy for me to say, because I'm one of those companies that sell this stuff, or some of my colleagues maybe. But at least you get to say if it doesn't work or if there are issues with it. It's not my problem. I'm renting. And you could try it for 3 months or something. Maybe it's worth it. Build it instead of building it yourself. And the cool thing about pay-as-you-go is it's exactly that, right? Try it. If it doesn't work, throw it away. Walk away without any damage. So that leads us to leadership strategy number 4. Enable a paid service for everyone. So now you've caved in. You've shown up trust to big tech with your data, your prompts, everything. Right? Now we're married to big tech. You were anyway, right? But yeah. So congratulations. You have now adopted AI. You've done it. Your employees are using AI chatbots to do work. And if you pick strategy 2, 3, or 4, you have some control of your data. It's not leaking to the big internet and serving as training data for other large language models, at least. So this means you are reaping the enormous productivity benefits attributed to generative AI. Right? Have you tried it? It's enormous. Right? It's so fantastic. But there's a lot of problems here. With, first of all, there's the adoption rate. It seems like you bought this thing or you applied this thing, and why is nobody using our chatbot? Or why is nobody using this thing we bought? The vendors promised you something like 30% plus maybe even more. Productivity increase, they said. I even saw a research thing from a company that said, we have done our own research, and it showed that there was a 60% productivity increase. Like very, very, very trustworthy research. Now, it's been around for so long that it seems like there's now sort of real research going on, unbiased, not connected with the AI vendors. And this is more what I saw with something that blew up to now, the impact of generative AI on software developer performance. It's 4% productivity boost, with moderate users emerging as high performers. So if you don't use it that much, you do get something out of it. It's not if you use it a lot, you get a lot out of it. And only 1% of generative AI code committed without significant rework. It seems like a ridiculous waste of time. The DORA report said recently they expect a 25% increase in AI adoption is associated with a little bit better document quality, tiny bit better code quality, but a less decrease in delivery throughput and decrease in delivery stability. So it's exactly what they promised. Right? We get exactly what we promised. It sounds like it's a great idea. So we're on this hype cycle, and it seems like generative AI is just beyond the peak of inflated expectations, and we're very quickly now dropping into the trough of disillusionment. On another note, I read that lazy people's problem, LinkedIn now spots and punishes AI copy-paste big time. So it's detecting if your post was written by an AI. And then it will give you 70% less exposure. Thing to note. And then you might think that it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke when you think about who owns LinkedIn. So wait a minute. So AI is just a statistical model. Right? It generates text based on other systems without any means of validation or fact-checking. It's also true for agents, which are going to come and go away within the end of the year or something. And relying on generative AI, especially at scale, reminds me of a movie line from one of my favorite documentaries, which is this. We have lost intelligence. I repeat, we have no intelligence. Yeah, again, one of my favorite documentaries. There was this other thing where I found that the illusion of AI productivity. In the beginning, you write a prompt, and it spits out enormous amounts of code or whatever it is you're trying, and you're like, I am so productive. And then you start reading what it actually produced, and you're like, and then the little AI vendor is tapping you on your shoulder. It's because you need to work on your prompts. Your prompts can be better. So you start, okay, I will work on my prompts. And you do this again. And it spews out a lot of content. And you look at it again and say, yeah, this still requires a lot of rework. And you go through that multiple times, and you end up taking just about the same amount of time on doing your work as you did before, only you spend the vast majority of time reading garbage and updating it instead of writing something that makes sense, hopefully together with a teammate. Now, the next thing is, as you probably all know, writing code was never a productivity problem. As a developer, especially working in pairs or even better in ensembles, as if you stick around for the next talk you'll hear a lot about, is a lot more effective at writing code, and it's not the production of characters that was the thing. The issue we had with productivity was this. So maybe we should fix that instead. And then on top of this, the fact that the only thing that this gives us is a maximization of this. It's all theater for the benefit of no one except managers and the people who sell you the certifications. So in the end, what you actually did is you just bought a tool. You did not transform anything. Your organization is just the same as before. You just have another tool in your toolbox that may or may not be useful for some things, but you didn't transform anything. Leading us to part 2. So if we can't transform anything with GenAI, maybe we can with AI. I got it. Okay, so AI transformation, what is that then? So I found this definition. AI transformation is the process of implementing artificial intelligence and machine learning to improve how your business operates and develops strategy. It often requires changes to business processes, organizational structures, and employee roles. Wait a minute. So I have to change my organization to adopt AI. That's weird. Do I really need that? So it reminds me of a law. Anyone get to take a guess? You must have heard of it. So Conway said a very long time ago in '67 that organizations are constrained to develop systems that mimic their communication structures. So if you don't focus on those, it's not going to work. So if you look at communication structures, here's a quote from the real world. The coolest thing in Copilot is that I can now ask it to focus my inbox. I can ask Copilot to figure out which emails are important. This is said by an extremely senior executive. Right? This is Conway's law working on overdrive. Like the problem, you get so many emails that you need AI to sort and prioritize. Maybe you should fix the problem of getting a lot of emails. Right? You're the executive. Stop sending stupid emails around and broadcasting corporate information written just to give management a sense of worth that they desperately need, but you don't need it, certainly. So you're fixing the wrong problem. Anyone, not managers, anyone in management, like real senior managers? Okay, just the one. Okay, so this one is for you. Right? You can't just buy a new tool. And you can't just throw an all-hands meeting and say, we have a new strategy, and then it just works. And you certainly can't just present a PowerPoint to the board. So how many times have you seen a company strategy, like a global company strategy, as a one-pager? Like, this is our company strategy. And you're like, okay, and then what? And the CEO will go, I don't know, I just wrote the slide. So strategies has to be driven by business outcomes. And it's not just technology. We must understand the capabilities of AI and figure out what it is actually that we want to do. Which leads me to the next bit. So where I work, we talk a lot about empowering people and being empowered. And that's a very important thing. So I'm going to ask you, do you feel empowered? Few of you like, okay. So who of you know exactly what empowered means? Like it's something where we're told you're supposed to feel empowered. Like it's universal and universal English. Everyone on the planet knows exactly what empowered means, right? I don't think you do. So I'm thinking empowered maybe means something like this. To be empowered is to be part of a team which as a team has the appropriate skills and authority and experience, and whose sole focus is to get the whole job done. So that means that your entire team has to be your entire team. Does that make any sense? You're not empowered if you must ask permission from security to do stuff. You're not empowered if you can only use a certain set of cloud resources that are governed by your platform team or some cloud center of excellence ivory tower thing. You're not empowered if you can't release software without asking permission and getting rubber stamped by a change advisory board or a bunch of old men somewhere. So we must evolve this organization and turn things around and find a way to build empowered teams. I think it's been a recurring theme for most of the conference. So, and then if it's AI, you probably want to add people who are capable of this stuff. Like bring in AI engineers or data scientists. And then, I think, also mentioned before today, maybe we should bring in the business people. Maybe we should bring in the people who actually know what needs to get done and make them be part of the team. Or as Joachim said earlier, talk to your users. Find a way to gather information so we build something that makes sense, that people actually maybe not asking for, but then showing traces of this is what they want to use. Instead of, so you know, in terms of the other thing, that what are we doing these days to shield developers from the real world? Like we will employ a product owner. Right? That's the best thing ever. We'll make sure that the only way developers can communicate with their users is through the written word. Right? We'll maybe get it via Jira or maybe by fax or something. It's going to be very efficient and a one-way communication. So we need to find a way to do this, empower your business and your customers with new and exciting AI-powered solutions. Now the thing is, this is going to be really hard. Right? We can't just buy a tool now. We actually have to build something. We have to engage with our users. We have to engage with business people, the whole organization. Which brings us back to the enterprise IT people. We will then ask, well, to build an AI platform or AI solution, we must get a platform then. Then as a company, we need an AI platform. Any of you got an AI platform yet? See a few hands. Building a platform to build a product before you build a product is premature optimization. Any computer scientist in the room has something to say about premature optimization? No? So the grand old man of this stuff, you should know, said in 1974, premature optimization is the root of all evil. Now, I deliberately only put quotes in here from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This is not new, back to the second slide on you've heard it all before. Right? But it seems like companies are continuously ignoring these learnings. And we continuously hire managers from business schools. Right? So you could say if DevOps is continuous delivery, then maybe enterprise DevOps is continuous ignorance. You can't consolidate something which doesn't exist yet. Also, if you remember your Monty Python, you're all different. Right? Why are you creating a platform to support all the different stuff you want to do? How is that going to be successful? This is your new platform. Because a platform is a set of tools the IT organization makes for itself. It has no value whatsoever. On that note, so Andrea, on the earlier talk today, decided to quote herself, which I thought was pretty cool, so I'm going to do that as well. Most of our products work quite well when they come out of engineering. So one example is I was trying to communicate with a customer on Teams, and I was asking, can we record this? Like, no, IT has blocked that. We can't record it because that's dangerous. Like, okay. So it seems like that when products hit the IT department, they suddenly stop working. Which means that if you allow an IT organization to manage a tool stack, you will end up with a watered-down, limited version, which nobody wants and nobody asks for. So what then? Back to thinking strategy. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to build? We have to prioritize this. So how many of you are working on more than one project or product? Usually a lot more hands. It seems like you're probably spending the lion's share of your time in meetings, coordinating, and context switching. So here's another one. Oh, sorry, that's actually a new quote, I'm sorry. But the best way to fail at inventing something is by making it somebody's part-time job. if you want to really do something, you have to do it. You have to form a team that does it, that's empowered. So maybe it's not just some team, it's a one-feature team. Maybe it's back to tribes or squads or something like that. Like we already heard, it takes maybe 30 to 60 minutes to context switch from one job to another. So I had a manager say, well, you've scheduled meetings all over the day. Right? So a meeting from 9 to 10, and then one from 10:45 to 11:45, and then a lunch, and then another meeting somewhere. And putting in nice gaps of 1 hour in between. And like my developers are complaining, they don't have time to do their stuff. I don't understand. They're 1 hour there, half an hour there, half an hour there. What's the problem? All right. So get the tools in the hands of your people, which means that they have to be empowered by the right tools. You're not empowered if you're not local admin on your box. Now come talk to me if you think that's not possible, and how can that be secure, and how can we scale, and all that stuff. And you also have to be, if you're running cloud or something, you have to be owners of your own cloud subscriptions. If you're running things on-prem, you need access to your operation systems or your stuff running locally, so you can do telemetry, monitor things, you can make changes on the fly, hopefully with a CD tool and all that, but still. Next thing for that team, we're stepping back to the leadership thing now. So don't tell them what to do or how. Especially if you tell them something like this. Like, we're planning to use AI or robotic automation to superpower our bureaucratic processes. So the thing is, you should get rid of the process. But if you're using AI to write memos and reports which no one reads, maybe we should be questioning writing the report in the first place. I had one again where they learned that they could use ChatGPT to write an executive summary to approve that should be used for an approval board. Now, if an AI-generated executive summary can get you an approval, there's a massive problem with the way you work. Right? And we should get rid of the approval board in the first place, and then the memos afterwards. So we have to trust our people. So I know it's Monday, so it's been a long time ago, but did any of you wake up on Friday morning thinking, going to work, I'm going to fuck shit up. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to make some massive damage to my systems that I'm working on? I have not met anyone anywhere who have intentionally tried to destroy things. And still it seems like a lot of companies are treating us that way. They're treating us in a way where they don't trust us. And we have to shield them, because what if they make bad stuff? And it turns out, if I really wanted to destroy anything in that control thing, wrong prop, but hold my beer. It's not going to take long if you deliberately really want to do something. So, back to that. We trust our people now. We've given them some vague idea of what to do, which is pretty much go make up some really crazy stuff that we can use for our business. It may be using AI. Let them use their magic. And build something that's nice. Right? Maybe it's conversational interface where you can, but I mean, have you tried those? Like those where you replace the support channel or something with an AI chatbot. Any of you happy with those? Or you find that got the information faster? Like if you can make it better than the forms-based approach, sure thing, but I dare you to try to. Maybe you should build machine learning fault detection or something, or drone surveillance for predictive maintenance. Build something interesting. Let it simmer, and then possibly, in a year or more, when everything is running in production and nice, you may get back to some consolidation and get some savings from a platform. Okay, it's been a long talk, so we are almost there. I will present the penultimate note, which is build small things that work and get them into production. Shouldn't surprise you, but this was also very true in 1975. So John Gall said, a complex system that works is invariably found to evolve from a simple system that worked. The inverse proposition also appears to be true. A complex system designed from scratch never works and cannot be made to work. You have to start over, beginning with a working, simple system. This is the reason that all big and government systems fail. Let's start out with a 5,000-page detailed requirement and estimate that we have 100 people to work on this for 3 years, and we're going to build it in the most safe way possible using SAFE. And we'll be done in 5 years, and it's going to be wonderful. Don't do that. And a final note, so scouring the internet sometime, I found a post on a news forum. I'm going to read out to you just to give you something to think about, and then we will get to questions afterwards. So why is AI going in the wrong direction? For decades, we've been saying that AI will come along and it will take over menial work, releasing us humans to do more creative work that is more fun. But it seems that AI has moved into the creative space, and it's just leaving the more menial and mind-numbing stuff for humans to do. Why do we need AI-generated videos, for example? Why not leave that up to somebody who is creative and use the AI to do the menial, frame-by-frame touching up and remastering of old videos? Why are we letting AI write stories for the press or for books? Surely that is the purview of humans. Shouldn't the AI be checking the spelling and grammar before stories are posted instead? Shouldn't AI and automation be doing the menial tasks on the production line, freeing up humans to do something more interesting instead? Is it because these menial tasks are also uninteresting to program for and hard to get 100% accurate? It is much more fun to get the AI to do some squiggly lines. You can see it is doing something quickly, and it's coming up with pretty pictures. It's much more fun to get it to write an article or a story than it is to get it to recognize a widget on a production line and reject those defects. Is AI pandering to the programmers of the AI and their funders, not to the potential users, where it makes the most sense? We people want that short, sharp endorphin high, the instant gratification, not the hard slug to actually do something useful. Thank you.